So you wake up every morning and stare in the mirror as you brush your teeth. But have you ever had a moment where you ask yourself, who is that person in the mirror? Day in and day out, we stick to our habits and routines which are essential for getting us through the overstimulating world that we live in. However, in the process of living life on autopilot, we are at the risk of slowly losing ourselves. We stagnate in the version of us that we have long outgrown but never took the time to properly move on from. I think the first thing we need to do is to reframe how we think about identity in the first place. Contrary to the common notion of identity as a stagnant and fixed concept, the fact is that our identity is ever-changing depending on the people and environment we're in. Everyone is a chameleon to some extent. It's just the nature of being a multifaceted human being who is trying to adapt to the modern way of living. As we grow and evolve by the virtue of experiencing the different aspects of life, our sense of identity changes with it. That's why having an attachment to an idea of who we are is how we get stuck in being who we are not. It's like holding on to the same beliefs and values that we have when we were 12. In order to grow, we must learn to be comfortable with the fluid nature of our identity. We are taught to look at the world through a black and white lens. Whether it's binary ideas of good or bad, pretty or ugly, success or failure. We then attempt to find ourselves with these strict labels and get frustrated by not going anywhere with it. Why is that? Well, you see, humans are messy, imperfect creatures that can't be neatly packaged into some stale labels. As I was digging through the internet, I came across an interesting quote from the book The Art of Talking to Yourself that sums up the complex concept of human identity. It says, "A person must be experienced to be known. Each one of us is a mystery, and the more aware you become, the more mysterious it gets. The reward for seeking truth is not the truth itself. The gift is wonder, the gift is love." Perhaps the reason behind why we so desperately want to find ourselves lies in fear. The fear of insecurity, vulnerability, judgments, the unknown. We want to have a box that we can strap ourselves into so that we can predict the trajectory of our life. It is comforting and satisfying to think that we are fully in control. But deep down, we all know that life will take its own course, whether we like it or not. It is only by addressing our ego's fear of insecurity and embracing the constant state of not knowing who we are, can we allow ourselves to truly explore our multifaceted nature as a human being. Perhaps instead of trying to find ourselves, we should try to discover and create ourselves. Embrace the adventure, a lifelong journey of appreciating the past versions of ourselves that equips us in the present with the tools to discover who we could be in the future. It all starts from freeing ourselves from the preconceived notion of who we think we are. After all, discovering who we are not is how we get closer to our core self. As the cliche saying goes, you have to lose yourself to find yourself. I believe there is no wrong path as long as we stay true to our intuition and pick the path that feels right for us. But as humans, we need some sort of direction in life. There's a reason as to why the concept of identity exists. It externalizes our values and beliefs that guides our actions and ideally drives us towards the best versions of ourselves. This is where our intuition comes in and acts as a North Star as we explore the different aspects of our identity. I think the only way to be ourselves whilst not knowing who we are is to be in tune with our intuition. When we fill up our life with distractions and leave no space for reflection, those distractions becomes our values. A lot of our current behaviors and tendencies are products of the environment and people around us, which often results in us adopting habits and ideals that we do not align with. We could do ourselves a favor and start to audit the default values and beliefs that we have adopted throughout our life. Learn what our core values are by observing how we feel about certain topics, people, traditions, and behaviors. From there, strive to live in alignment with our values by managing the time and energy that we invest in certain people, activities, and opportunities. This will be a lifelong exercise as our priorities shift with our age. Most importantly, we have to stop comparing ourselves to others. If our own success is measured against the achievements or failure of others, we will just be paralyzed by their reality rather than living our own truth. The key is to become aware of the root cause of our negative emotions. When they arise, try to take a moment to detach from it, to observe it objectively. Identify when we feel those feelings and if it's a beneficial survival instinct or if it's just a fear of judgment that is in the way of us taking on opportunities that aligns with our values.
All that said, I think we should have compassion for who we are now while striving to be a better version of ourselves, rather than being fixated on what labels and categories we fit into.
The thing is, nothing in life is permanent. All we can do is to appreciate everything we have the fortune of borrowing during our time on Earth and focus on the things that we can control rather than being trapped by our fear of the unknown. After all, life is a series of connected events. Much like a hero's journey, it will be full of ups and downs. However, I believe life always has a way of finding balance.
So, who are you right now?